People often ask Amy Adler if she finds work difficult or depressing, but she doesn't see it that way. Adler is a sexual assault nurse examiner at Christus St. Vincent Regional Medical Center. She's a member of a team of specially trained healthcare providers. They perform medical examinations on people who are reporting experiencing sexual assault. In her off hours, she serves as a volunteer on the board of Solace Sexual Assault Services, helping to ensure survivors receive wraparound services, including mental health care, in the aftermath of sexual violence. Since becoming a board member for Solace 2 years ago, she said her goal is to ensure that money is never a deciding factor when the organization makes decisions about how best to serve the community. Though some might assume the combination of Adler's chosen profession and community service would be depressing, Adler calls her work with Solace very uplifting. It's really a celebration, she said. What we try to do here is to celebrate the strength, dignity, and resilience of survivors and help them recognize their own strength, dignity, and resilience. In an area that has long struggled with generational problems tied to drug abuse and poverty, Christine Tini Bustos has spent decades working to change perceptions of the Espanola Valley through volunteer work. She has helped organize annual events and served in countless roles throughout the community where she was born and raised. Bustos has helped organize events like the City of Espanola's Electric Light Parade and Fiesta del Valle de Espanola, and has volunteered at a long list of organizations, including the Espanola Rotary Club, the city's Main Street Commission, the Plaza de Espanola Foundation, the New Mexico Wildlife Center, and the Hispano Music Association. Bustos also is a mayordoma at Capilla de San Pedro, a small chapel in her neighborhood. In between masses held there on the first Friday of each month, she helps care for the building and grounds. She said at the heart of her calling to help her community is a desire to improve her hometown and how people view it. I always hated to see people complaining, Bustos said. You can sit around and complain, or you can do something about it. Nate Downey is a self-styled aquaponics evangelical. The food production system pairs raising fish with crop cultivation. Downey's fascination with the growing method took off several years ago, prompting him to enroll in classes at Santa Fe Community College and start attending a weekly hangout known as Aquaponics Anonymous. He has a habit of infecting those he encounters with an interest in the subject, and the groups are still meeting weekly. The school's controlled environment agriculture program is focused on crop production and research. But around the time of the COVID-19 pandemic, Downey stepped up to do distribution too. He would arrive at work at the greenhouse before dawn to plan how to route the lettuce out to communities in need of it. In all, he has given out about 9,000 heads of lettuce free of charge in recent years. Downey, who's now an unpaid intern at the college, said, "We want to change the world here at the community college with getting people to grow it so we can expand growth across the planet that's positive, that feeds people." Allison Fail has had cancer 3 times. Most recently, she had surgery earlier this year to remove a segment of her lung after doctors discovered a cancerous nodule. She is now in good health and chalks it up to more than luck. There's a reason why I'm still here, said Fail, who believes everyone is here to make a difference. Fail was the project manager for Christ Lutheran Church's application to host Santa Fe's first pallet shelter village for the unhoused. It's a community of small individual housing units, and it's part of a city initiative. The village opened in April through a partnership between Christ Lutheran Church, the city of Santa Fe, and the LifeLink, which provides case management services to residents. Fail had a long career working as a project manager for the state in various agencies. That served her well while working on the application for the pallet shelter village, which involved wading through a bunch of red tape. The Reverend Joeen Hare of Christ Lutheran Church said Fail was crucial to the pilot project's success. As the Reverend said, without her, the safe outdoor space would not have happened. Flora Leyba has been defined all her life by her boldness, energy, and faith, which in turn has inspired other seniors in Santa Fe as she builds a sense of community. The 94-year-old has been a lifelong volunteer, aiding shelters, senior centers, and churches, and leading a program for children in her younger years. Her whole life, Leyba clung to the faith she found at an early age, and she found a way to share it with children in the neighborhood where she and her husband Walter bought a home in 1953. Every week, she hosted a good news club where she and a few friends would play the piano, provide refreshments, and read Bible stories. These days, Leyba offers support for other seniors in the community. If someone is sick at the Mary Esther Gonzalez Senior Center, Leyba calls to check in. If someone can't make it to church one day, she calls them up and prays with them. Everywhere she goes, she feels the need to give. For years, she volunteered to bring baked goods that otherwise would have been discarded by local grocery stores to the Salvation Army, local shelters, a senior center, and a local church's lunch kitchen. Flora said, "I am forever wanting to give without any reason whatsoever. It's just in my nature. I want to do something, a little something, for people." Megan Montelibano Gorman knew she wanted to avoid the severe postpartum depression she experienced after the birth of her now 3-year-old son, Charlie. When her second son, Max, arrived this year, she was encouraged by her husband to turn to the online community she had been building through her Santa Fam Instagram page, which details free and affordable activities for families with children under 5. So she sent out an open invitation on Instagram to drink coffee and cry at Alto Park. Some 75 people showed up. It was the first of what's become regular coffee and crying meetups, which offer a space to build community with fellow parents while sharing happy and sad tears about their experiences. In her professional life, Montelibano Gorman, who is Filipino-American, runs Tayo, a marketing firm for a Tagalog word meaning let's go. The Santa Fam page, though, is a labor of love, and her detailed activities calendar on her Santa Fam website is a resource for parents and caregivers of young children across Santa Fe. She enjoys seeing her work help cultivate relationships and strengthen support systems. As she said, "I like to kind of be a matchmaker in these situations, introducing people to one another, encouraging numbers being shared. I've seen friendships blossom." Maria Naranjo has been bringing joy and encouragement to nursing home residents and others who need a helping hand for 4 decades. A ministry was started by her brother 40 years ago to provide worship services to nursing home residents. When he passed away in 2021, Naranjo decided to keep the ministry alive, transitioning to spiritual leader. She recruits others to join her in her ministry at Casa Real, a local nursing facility. But she'll minister alone, too, praying with individuals or groups and reading scripture. A longtime educator and former principal of Carlos Gilbert Elementary, Naranjo is also known as an advocate for preserving the history of northern New Mexico, with an emphasis on her family's origins in Chimayo. "It's in your blood," Naranjo said of her heritage. "If I and others in my situation do not preserve that, it's gone by the wayside." After a successful career in software development, Louis Tillmont has dedicated himself to serving the Santa Fe community through a variety of what he called boots-on-the-ground roles to support the city's vulnerable populations and tackle the roots of poverty. He also is a hands-on foster parent for the Santa Fe Animal Shelter and Humane Society, having raised almost 90 cats and dogs. Tillmont said his life changed at the beginning of 2020 when he was diagnosed with cancer. While undergoing chemotherapy, he became a mentor with STEM Santa Fe, a local nonprofit that provides programs related to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. After recovering from cancer, Louis ramped up his involvement serving as a mentor and tutor for students with STEM Santa Fe and communities in schools of New Mexico. Outside of schools, he became an advocate for Casa First, a local program providing court-appointed special advocates and other supports for foster children. He also is a treasurer for the Santa Fe Recovery Center, a board member for the Friendship Club, and a volunteer with the Cancer Foundation for New Mexico. "I've always been an idealist," Tillmont said. "I was in the finance business, which is somewhat soulless, so I always felt like I wanted to give something back." The founding members of one volunteer community group started picking up trash individually in their own neighborhoods before realizing they could make a bigger dent in Santa Fe's trash problem by joining forces. With their litter-picking powers combined, the Trash Pandas have cleaned up a whopping 13 tons of trash across Santa Fe in the past 18 months, with volunteers logging 1,300 hours of work over more than 50 cleanups. George Palmer, Carol Gruby, Lindsay Conover, Kevin Rapp, Lisa Frand, and Julie Murray are among the co-founders of the group. They operate on the guiding principle of, "If not me, then who?" Several members met through the S3 Santa Fe Housing Initiative, a local collaborative effort focused on affordable housing and homelessness, and the group frequently cleans up abandoned encampments. During a recent cleanup at Los Hermanos Rodriguez Park, volunteers collected 40 bags of trash, or about 800 pounds. As Kevin Rapp said, "It starts in your backyard. If everybody cleaned up their neighborhood, the city would be clean. So every neighborhood matters." A love for the arts provided Ryan Williams with an escape from his upbringing in rural Oklahoma, a place where growing up gay, he said he always felt like the odd man out. His journey ultimately brought him to Santa Fe, where he's created a program that brings art into the city's shelters while providing local artists, homeless or otherwise, avenues to earn a living. A few years ago, an opportunity to earn a small grant spurred him to write down the idea for the Unhoused art program. He got the grant, raised money through a GoFundMe campaign, and made a pitch to St. Elizabeth's Shelter, which supported his idea. Williams, or another artist, brings art supplies to a shelter and then helps participants create pieces they can keep. Or they can elect to have them sold online or in local art fairs or galleries. Creators receive 90% of the proceeds, with the remainder paying for the supplies and $50 stipends for artists who volunteer to lead workshops. Arts incubator Vital Spaces has agreed to give the program a permanent home. Williams said, "It is inspiring to help others realize their artistic potential and be part of a group they may have felt excluded from." He said, "Even if I have the crappiest day, being here I always feel better. Whoever comes to do this art, there is an open-heartedness at the table."